game one.
Yeah. Excuse me? Did you knock these sideboards here?
I'm not buying it.
Yeah. There's no way.
Too many deck rest in peace is bold.
Yeah. I mean, working out for him so far. Jeff is sitting here with 22 points in the standings in 12th place. Not sure if a win's going to knock him into the top 8 or not. I don't think so.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be very, very close, as Phillip is going to start off here with an Overgrown Tomb into an Arbor Elf.
And Jeff actually does have a rest in peace in his hand right now.
Yeah.
So,
as the kids say on the street, had it.
Had it.
Yeah.
Came ready for this matchup. I mean, it makes some amount of sense, I guess, because Jund is very good against creature decks, and then Rest in Peace shores up a lot of places where you're weak.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Jund loses to these type of decks is because of Unburial Rights for the most part, which is super annoying. And being able to take care of that, especially game one, is you're going to see a Mulch here turn over Restoration Angel, an Angel of Serenity, and a Woodland Cemetery. You know, this sure is that up, and it's certainly going to be nice if you're Jeff right now to go, whoopsie-daisies. So here is a Rest in Peace to take care of those cards.
Just drew an Umbrella, right? So that's pretty good.
I think when Jeff was at home building his deck last night, this is how he drew it up.
Yep.
Because we're going to see an attack for 1 here with an Arbor Elf. Godless Shrine going to come into play tapped. He's going to pass the turn.
And I believe Phillip's hand is just lands and an Unburial Rights.
Ugh. See a Dreadbore in Jeff's hand. No black mana, it looks like, for him just yet. And there's a Godless Shrine. It's going to pass back. Yeah.
Maybe he has a Restoration Angel in hand.
There's a Kessig Wolf Run, big follow-up. All right, Master of the Fells. Jeff's going to move up to 20 and put a Wolf token into play. This smells like Restoration Angel. No, he just chose not to attack. A little surprising.
Perhaps.
Draw. Draws a Lingering Souls. Man.
Yep.
There's that. He's going to get the front half of this card, but he will not get the back. So 2 Spirit tokens.
You see the Wolf come into play?
Oh! All right, untapped draw. Let's see what Jeff finds this turn. Is it a Black Sword yet? It is a Blood Crypt. So now everything is online for his deck. The black for his deck, not a ton of black in his deck, Patrick. He does have Olivia Voldaren. He actually does have 2 copies of Murder, too. So he's certainly stretching the man a little bit. Farseek can only do so much. Yep. Then 2 copies of Rakdos Return, 3 Slips, and a Dreadbore. 2 Lilianas, too. Wow. Okay, so, I mean, his white splash is very, very small. For him to be able to do that, he does have the Overgrowns, the Blood Crypts, the Woodland Cemeteries. So that's going to be 12. 2 Dragon Skull Summons, too. I was looking to see if he had a Godless Shrine, but he does not.
Yeah, so the mana's pretty strained, but obviously he feels like Rest in Peace is worth going out of his way for.
Yeah, it's not overboard.
And now we're here.
So passing the turn back. So Huntmaster, ting, ting, ting. Gonna take care of Arbor Elf. Ravager of the Fells has shown up to the party. Now Jeff's gonna draw a card. It's a Stomping Ground.
I think our hand's all removal. I wouldn't be surprised to see us just dump everything into our Wolf Run.
There's also a Garrett Primal Hunter over there as
well.
he
has a Garrett in hand. And it is castable. Okay, that seems better. I thought his hand was just removal spells.
Not just the nuts. Removal spells and a Planeswalker. He's going to draw 4 cards. Drew a lot of lands off that, but he drew another Garrett too. A little surprised to see him draw cards instead of make a beast there.
Yeah, drawing cards is a little weird to me when you have Wolf Run in play. It's not like you're going to run out of things to do with your mana.
Yeah.
All right, Thrag Tusk for Phillip is the draw.
Save me! It saved a lot of people on its day.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it's sufficient here.
See Jeff going to draw a card. Rakdos Return the draw. Phillip with a decent amount of cards in his hand, so that's certainly an appealing option here.
Although it's hard to assume what could even be in his hand at this point, because he obviously just drew that Thrag Tusk, so...
Yeah, maybe he can figure things out where he's just like, oh, okay, there can't be much going on. Maybe 2 or 3 copies of Burial Rights are in his hand, that's it. Or like a Grizzly Salvage that he has no interest in casting yet.
Yep.
So let's see how Jeff wants to navigate this turn.
There is an argument for trying to find a way to cast 2 spells so you can get your Huntmaster flipped back down. Which you could do, for example, through Dreadbore plus casting Garrick is a one he could take. It depends how much he feels like he needs to fire off this Rakdos Return. I think that's the big question. Does he just want to take his turn doing this, even though it's unlikely that Phillip's hand is very good, or does he just cast what he wants to cast?
He's got 5 mana tap. And just 5 right now. All right, Raptors return for 3. And there goes those guys, some burial rights and lands. So Phillip going to move down to, I believe, 8 is going to be the life total here. Is he willing to pull the trigger on the Dreadboard? Now that's a big question.
Yeah, I guess how does he feel about needing the insurance against an Angel of Serenity off the top?
So now Wolf Token bites the dust, not willing to send in the Ravager. It looked like his turn is a little... So Jeff's turn looked like it was a little confused there because it looked like he wanted a Dreadbore and then he didn't want a Dreadbore. And so if he's not going to do that, then he should have returned for the full amount that turn.
Yep.
It looked like he was a little complicated in his thoughts. And so that game's going to end there. So Jeff is going to be up a game here.
So, yeah, Phillip just not willing to play out anymore against the main deck, rest in peace. And so we can go to the sideboard here. Phillip has 3 copies of a 6 slime. I imagine we're going to see here. He has some Faith Menders, an Obsidat, a Tragic Sleep, and his own Garrick. All of these seem like fairly solid cards to go to. What we're looking at over on our guy who already seems pretty heavily metagamed for this matchup.
Yeah, he does. You see those 2 rest in peace in the main deck. You see a 3rd one on the sideboard, an additional Bonfire of the Damned to go with his 1 main deck. 2 Duress, 2 Pillar Flame, a Rakdos Return, an Abrupt Decay, 2 Underworld Connections, a Liliana of the Veil, 2 Slaughter Games, and 2 Vraska the Unseen. So I think we're going to see Slaughter Games come in, probably just for Angel of Serenity, but the situation dictates what you name.
Yes.
It's not 100% like it would be against a Hallowed Fountain deck where you name Sphinx's Revelation and try to outcard them yourself.
Yeah. You could even imagine a situation where he's got, Rest in Peace plus Underworld Connections online and going. He's actually willing to name Acidic Slime.
Yeah. That's
so it's not.
realistic.
It doesn't just have to be Angel of Serenity. There's plenty of other reasonable targets. Thragtusk at times is the most meaningful card, and so it's important to just be pretty open-minded about where you're using Slaughter Games instead of having a plan ahead of time, because different cards have different value depending on what the texture of the game is like.
Underworld Connections, if he does want to try to pull ahead on cards, he's going to be on the draw this game, though. And, without an Arbor Elf start, which Jeff only has 2 of, Underworld Connections might be a little too slow because the Junk Reanimator can get in front of you so quickly with its mana accelerants. Abrupt Decay, not so much. Rakdos Return, it's pretty meh. Unless you already have a Rest in Peace in play, then it's pretty good, actually. Kind of like Pillars, but I don't love them. Just for the fact that you can control their mana accelerants, a little bit. Kind of like Bonfire when you know your opponent has Lingering Souls in their deck, plus they have those mana accelerants. How many? We have 2 Arbor Elves and 4 Pilgrims, yeah, so 6 things to
I would want Pillar on the draw.
Okay.
I think on the play, you probably have enough 2-mana removal to keep up with it. You may be able just to kind of keep pace even if they have an accelerant. On the draw, I think it's very important for Jeff not to just get pushed out of the gate.
Yeah. I mean, he's certainly got some cards that he can sideboard out here. I wouldn't want anything to do with Liliana of the Veil. You can make an argument for keeping Dreadboard in. He does have 3 Tragic Slips to be able to take mana accelerants early and an Angel of Serenity late. Don't love Assemble the Legion in this matchup either. Do like the Murders, do like the Dreadbore, do like Bonfire in this matchup. Maybe Mortars is pretty meh. So he's got some things that he can move in and out. Definitely some working pieces. How he wants to go about moving those cards in and out, that's a different story.
Yeah, Mortars, to me, the big question about whether you want Mortars against the Junk Reanimator deck is based on if they have Centaur Healer or a Smiter. That, to me, is the big tipping point, because it's a little awkward to deal with. It's like Smiter can be awkward to deal with in some spots if you don't have a clean removal spell for it, whereas Centaur Healer is kind of meh at all times. It's not much of a clock. It doesn't really affect the board very much. So, but, at this point, Jeff, unless he knows Phillip's deck or, just is going to be willing to guess on it, really has no way of knowing whether it's Centaur Healer or Smiter.
Yeah. And we know, taking a look at the deck list, that there are 2 healers there, no Smiters. If that's the case. 2
healer, no Smiter in the 75.
Okay. So, of course, Jeff did not see that game 1 either, so we'll see if maybe that influences the sideboard because he's probably played the matchup a time or 2.
Played a matchup enough to know that he wants recipes in his main deck, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe a timer 20. Maybe I was misspoken. So we'll see what does happen here between Rasmussen and Miller. These 2 players playing for top 8. See which one of them is able to make it through into play later, so long as tiebreakers do break their way. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan here in Milwaukee at SCG Live. You can join us with your tweets with hashtag SCGMKE. Also have Glenn over there on the sideboard working diligently, we'd like to believe, at some point over the course of this weekend.
Yeah. We have to be working under that assumption, but that's, God only knows. Also noteworthy, these players are X1 and 1. Phillip's tiebreakers are actually quite good, and Jeff's are quite bad. So it looks like a spot where Phillip, to me, looks very likely to be in with a win here, and Jeff is unlikely.
All right, so we're going to see both players keep their 7 underground tomb into Rasmussen's Pilgrim. And by underground, I mean overgrown.
Yeah.
In for 1 we go. Temple Guard into play tap, pass the turn back. Jeff, do you have a Farseek? He does.
Yep.
A promotional one. And I saw a white card in his hand too, did you?
Yeah, I did.
I think I saw Public Enemy #1.
And to your point about the way that his mana base was built, assuming he still had Liliana in his deck, this would actually be a time where you would really want to go get Goblet Shrine.
Yeah. Well, he may not want Liliana for this matchup, but there are certainly other matchups where he will.
Yeah, just talking about his mana base in general.
Yeah, for sure.
In the abstract, you would be wanting to get. Oh, he has Underworld connection, so yeah, he definitely would have wanted to get a Goblet Shrine there. A lot of double black spells.
So we're gonna go with Olivia this turn. Yep.
I like it. Puts him to the test, right?
That puts him in quite the bind because that Absence Pilgrim is going to bite the dust here. As Crater of Behemoth is the draw. Hope you have a 5-drop. All right, Acidic Slimer.
Imagine we're tagging the Overgrown Tomb here.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's anything else. I mean, maybe the White Source because he has Fear of Rest in Peace.
But not the way his hand is.
Yeah.
He's got no graveyard action.
Well, he is going to attack the White Source. Pass the turn back.
He's realistically got some number of black removal spells in his deck. If he's really that worried about Rest in Peace, I guess that's an argument for it, but to me... So we're taking out the Acidic Slime and shipping for 5? A little surprised that we wouldn't kill the Pilgrim first.
Yeah, I think you would want to cut his mana a little bit, especially with this, as we're going to see an attack here for 1, he can't just bring back that Acidic Slime with an Unburial Rites.
Yep.
So I wouldn't want to open my opponent up to that avenue of play. All right, well, here comes Olivia. In for 5 more. Ping that. Let's make it 6. All right, there's a Farseek. Maybe search out another White Source here. Yeah, Temple Garden.
Yep. And there's a Thragtusk. So Phillip's hand is Thragtusk, Craterhoof Behemoth, and lands. But it's going to be a real struggle for him to handle Olivia, obviously. Olivia there is a 6/6 right now. Hopefully get a larger die over there momentarily.
I got a feeling it's moving on up, moving on up. And for 6 we go again. 2-turn clock right now. And so now, see a Mortar is going to take out that Thragtusk. We'll leave him behind a 3/3 token.
And I would probably just Rest in Peace here.
Yeah, and that's
shut the door on any graveyard shenanigans.
Yep. See a Dreadboard here too, along with that Underworld Connections Huntmaster in Jeff's hand, basically saying, hey man, you got to have that White Source, maybe another land for an Angel of Serenity right now for me to even care about what you're doing. If you don't, it's just over. So I really do like that last turn.
Yep,
quite a bit. We've seen this song and dance before with Jun. As Phillip Miller is going to extend the hand, he is defeated by Jeff Rasmussen 2-0. From his 4-color mid-range, you can call it Jun with white if you'd like, deck. Basically a Jun deck starting 2 copies of Rest in Peace and Assembled Allegiance. So, we've seen this song and dance before with Olivia Valderin where unchecked, game over.
Yep.
And we just saw another case of that.
That is a card I'm actually going to be pretty happy when it rotates out, I feel like.
You a little tired of that one?
The way that it determines games at times is pretty unsatisfying.
I've been on the... we play the same type of decks.
The decks that I build aren't particularly weak to Olivia.
Okay.
I'm saying that from a commentator standpoint, from the holistic experience of everyone in the room, I'm saying that I think it is a net negative.
Okay.
And I'm going to be happy when that is no longer part of standard matches I have to commentate.
Well, I am on the side of when my opponent plays it, I feel like I can't possibly win.
Yep.
So I've certainly had enough of it, and I cringe every time my opponent ever taps out to cast one, as I